Michael DeLuca's not here.
So Ms. Bingle.
So
Okay.
it's Luann.
Yes, please.
Yes, it is. And before I begin, Gail, Madam Secretary, I would like to note that last time the board very nicely allowed an owner to speak for 9.5 minutes. The owner is here tonight, and I'm asking the board to give me the same courtesy if I go over by a minute, probably 58 seconds. I would hope that you would indulge me as well. Ready? Hi, I'm Luann Spingola, ex-director, and tonight I would like to use my 5 minutes of free speech to address the board through a letter from a concerned owner. This is the letter. Directors, I would like to begin by commending Mr. Van Bergen and Cooper Square for the fantastic job they've done here in the last year and a half. Despite many obstacles, micromanaging, insults, and interference, Mr. Van Bergen remains professional, gets the job done, works long and hard for us, and should be cited for his dedication, not set up and sniped at on and off camera. Certain board members are in this office all day, almost every day. The president now has his own office on this floor. Recently, a complaint was filed against this president for reducing a female employee to tears by calling her a filthy name. I ask the board to please let Cooper Square do their job. It would be a great disservice to all of us if our board removed Mr. Van Bergen or any of his staff, yet the Cooper Square contract remains unsigned. I want the board to know that, unlike the president, most owners believe that fixing the elevators takes priority over automating the garage. Ensuring that our fire safety system is functioning properly is more important than submetering. Passing 2 assessments on top of 2 maintenance increases in 6 months destroys our property values. Allowing the chronic absence of our vice president, who has not been to any of the 40 or so working sessions and even some open sessions since he was elected in March, is detrimental to the galaxy. I ask the board, why are we in the HVAC business? As a director, I saw an email from our current facilities manager explaining why he believed the GE PTAC units are less energy and cost efficient than other brands that fit our sleeves. Some of the GE units were leaking and ruining the floors, and the man-hours needed for installation were enormous. He recommended a different unit that would not require altering the sleeves and was more energy efficient than the GE units. Yet last month, the president announced that we were purchasing more GE units. After reading that email, why? Does someone on the board have a special relationship with GE? The owners deserve an explanation and full disclosure of the president's interest in GE. I ask the board why the elevators do not take priority over submetering and garage automation. The lack of maintenance and modernization has made our elevators unsafe, as well as helping to depreciate our property values. A friend in Edgewater was interested in buying here until he and his realtor waited 10 minutes for an elevator. Directors, remember this the next time garage automation comes up. In 2008, an experienced elevator consultant who worked for Otis for many years was hired. His specialty? Modernization. Months later, he's no longer with us because his company's specialty was not modernization. Now I hear this same company is back to help us modernize. I think the residents who are paying for this service deserve an explanation. I ask the board, why do you continue to patch and repatch the Tower 2 roof against the recommendation of professionals who said we should replace it because it was beyond repair? Our president convinced the board majority to patch. It lasted 6 months. Another patch was needed. Now another patch is needed. The argument is, but it isn't leaking in the same place. Well, of course not. The entire roof is damaged. Replacement would cost $300,000 and would last 20 years. Last February, the president said we'll patch the roof for 20 years. At $15,000 a year, the cost is the same. Well, prices rise. If the cost went up a mere $3,000 a year over the next 20 years, we would have paid over $800,000 to patch the roof. I asked the board regarding the laundry why front-loading washers were chosen when they failed years ago. When I asked the residents, 95% said they didn't want front loaders. The board ignored this. I researched the chosen company. I showed the board postings from the website of a building they service complaining about the poor job the front loaders do and the company's poor service record. The board dismissed this. More troubling was the fact that a director asked a representative if he could buy one of his company's washers at cost. The agent's answer was, yeah, sure. Ethical? The president says we will save water with these front loaders. Then why is he allowing the commercial units in the mall to add new bathrooms? A clear violation of the alteration agreement, which also results in us paying the extra sewerage bill. Could this be why 28 mall units named a sitting director as their anti-recall proxy last March? I would like to ask the board why, in regard to the last 2 special assessments, no substantiation was given. And why has the 7% increase collected since January and promised to go only for the pre repayment of the loan not been used for this purpose. The president's spin about having the money first and then going to the bank is an embarrassment. The owners were told we would start prepaying in January. We ponied up the money. It hasn't gone towards prepaying the loan. Why and where is it? Why was our ex-treasurer tried, convicted, and removed and not replaced? Why does this board think we can use the finance committee, who have done a commendable job, as treasurer when legal counsel said this is improper? I can only think of one reason, and he sits at the head of this table. Lastly, by now most of you, directors and owners, have received a letter calling for a special meeting to recall the president, the assistant secretary, and a District 3 director. I would ask these directors to resign, as 2 did before them, to allow the remaining directors to start interviewing candidates. The process is in place, so this recall will cost a fraction of the 20 grand spent on the last recall, which is less than what your president spent last year on bogus investigations of other directors. In a 2007 open session, your current president, now subject to this recall, said, if there was just one signature on a petition to remove me, I would resign. There are a lot more signatures than just one. I ask the president now to take your own advice, keep your word, and step down. I would like to thank the board for allowing me this time. This was written by Mike DeLuca, who could not be here tonight, and he and only he is responsible for its content. Thank you very much.
Thank you much for a wonderful presentation. Would you like to leave your speech here so we can answer? Thank you much. I suggest to the person who wrote this to do a little homework, because unfortunately a lot of misinformation. I would like to ask our assistant manager, who was quoted with his email, with your permission, to comment. Mr. Rivera, would you please address the issue of air conditioners, the most efficient or less efficient? Do you remember the email which...
He doesn't know that.
At this time.
Not at this time? No, but this is very important.
I'd rather do something in
How can you
writing
put
and
Danny on the
official.
spot?
No, he does know, because this issue
You're
was
putting
discussed.
him on a spot.
I'm not putting anybody
Yes,
on
you
the spot.
are.
I'm not.
You brought him
I'm
Alonso,
not.
who brought in
I'm
those
not.
air conditioners.
I'm
How
not.
dare you do
I'm
that?
not putting
How
him.
dare you do that?
Can you bang the gavel, please?
I'm going to ask
What
you to.
gavel?
I'm going to ask you to
People
leave
from
this.
this seat have spoken before.
You're
I'm going
Elena
to.
Center did. We have a lot of people
Come to
who
order,
have
please.
this seat
Come to
before.
order, please.
And I'm going to speak
Monica.
because it's all on tape.
You're
No,
You
I
need to
am going
understand.
to.
You have to recess this meeting, please. 5 minutes recess. I apologize, homeowners, for a little turbulence in the air. Let's go back to business. Let's go back to business. Unit owners are welcome to participate in the board meetings, but unit owners are not allowed to speak unless they are addressed. So I would greatly appreciate if all respected members of this community, unit owners,
Tapes show that other owners have spoken here.
do not,
Martin Orshey,
do not,
Elena Center did.
please, we're going to go into recess again. We have all night here. This particular speech, which took place 5 minutes ago, will definitely reply. Will ask. Will definitely reply word to word. I can assure you that a significant amount of information in this particular speech is not less than factual. The next issue on the agenda is